in this lesson, we're going to be making a template similar to what you're seeing here and the dimensions. So a template can be used on all your files, and so it's all in the layout mode. And so what we're going to do is, in this application, we're going to open up an existing file that we've already used, and this one is the bracket, and we have all the layers. So if you already don't have the layers, what we want to make sure is that we have a title block, and that's what is currently active. And then we're going to create title block text. And so we're going to call it title blocks lettering. And then it's going to be in the color here. We're doing a green color. And then we're also going to be having a continuous line, and then at 1.2 millimeters in thickness. And so these can be changed colors and such when you're doing different projects. All right, so right now we're in the title block, and then what we're going to do is I don't need all of this, and so the only reason why I'm deleting everything is I want to keep all those layers. Rather than start a new project with layers, I can just copy the old ones. And so what I want to do is, there's actually what we call a viewport here. I'm in the layout mode. I don't need this right now. I'm going to make my own, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete it or erase it. And I'm going to create my own title block and viewport in this lesson. All right, so what you need to do is make sure that you know the dimensions of what you're going to do. So I'm going to have a rectangle here, and I'm going to create the template, and this is going to be outside of every drawing. And so I'm typing in this case, 0, 0 is the starting point, and then I'm going to make mine 10.5 inches by a quarter. All right, and this is my bottom row. So you'll see it's following that dotted line. And the reason why it's indented is because when you print to a printer, it doesn't necessarily go to the outside. All right, and I'm going to do this again. And just to make this easy for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and just start everything at 0, 0. So I don't have to do as much math on the fly with you guys. All right, so 0, 0. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time with 10.5 over, but I'm going to just increase it so that this one is at 8 inches, all right? And so that's the overall size. And then I'll go ahead and do this one more time here for these larger rectangles, and 0, 0. And then the next one is going to be at, again, 10.5 inches. But then we're going to make this one at 1/2 inch, 0.5. All right, so you can see the overall size of the template. Now what I need to do is make these little boxes, and this is the measurement that I'm going to follow. So you can always refer back to that if you don't have a book. All right, so now I'm going to make those lines, and there's a lot of different ways to do this. But what I'm going to do is save this as a template file. We've been saving your files as DWGs, but we want to save it as a template file, and it's going to want to go back into this template in your computer. But if you want to have this in a different place, you're going to have to find a location for it. So I'm putting it in with this book in this chapter 7, and I'm naming it. This is a ACAD AH title. All right, so it's different than a regular AutoCAD file. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here. Now I'm going to start constructing some of these lines here. All right, so what I need to do then is I'm just going to start at 0, 0 on these rectangles. 0, 0, enter. And then for this first one, what I'm going to do is type it in at 2.35 inches by 0.25. All right, I only need that one line, but for this application, this will be fine. And I'm going to do this multiple times here. So I'm I'm going to do another one at 4.65, and then it's going to be up at a 1/4 inch. So it's 2.35, 4.65, and then I'll do another one here. Oh, try this again. All right, so at 4.65, and then at 0.25, all right? And then we'll do another one. So that should have been 4.65. And then we'll make another one at 6.95 over. So type of the rectangle, 0.0, and then 6.95, and at 0.25. All right, and I'm going to be dimensioning this at the end here so you can get the dimensions you need. And then let's do the last one, which is going to be at 8.15 and 0.25. All right, and then I'm still going to need to add some more here. So 0.0 and at 0.25, so starting a little higher here, and then this one's going to be at 3.75, and I'll do another one. So at first thing I type in is 0.25, and then this one will be at 6.95, 0.5. So 0.0 and then 0.25, and then 6.95 and 0.5 for 1/2 inch. All right, and I'm just pushing enter after I do it, and that will bring up the previous menu. So starting at 0 on the X and 0.25 on the Y. And then the last one here is going to be 8.15 and 1/2 inch. All right, and there's all the lines on the bottom. And we'll be doing the text and dimensioning next. In this lesson, I'm going to continue creating the template at these dimensions here. And I have a separate layer for the dimensions, and I have a separate layer for the text box and then the dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the dimensions. And now normally you wouldn't be providing dimensions in a template, but we just want to verify the size of this. So let's go ahead to the linear dimension tool here, 2.35. And 2.3. And 2.3. And notice I'm snapping these on each other just to make this easier to read. All right, so far so good. Now, if yours are a little different, that's okay. What I've noticed on the template here is that there's not a lot of room for some things, and every company or every individual has different needs. For example, this one, the drawing's checked by somebody and approved by somebody. So, but having said that, we're just going to go ahead and make this universal type of a template, and you can always change it for your own needs. All right, so my viewport area in here is that you see the total is 8 inches by 10.5 inches. All right, so now what I need to do is put some text in here. And again, the text that I'm doing is very specific for this exercise, but you may have your own needs. And there's a lot of different ways to put the text in. Primarily, I'm going to be making text and then simply copying and pasting it back in there, which is just a fast way of doing it. So I've turned the snaps off so I can do that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and use the single line text tool. And I have the snap off, so I don't have to worry about it snapping someplace. And I'm just going to manually just eyeball the height here. So you can do it as you need to. And then I'm going to write here, this is going to be the institution. You would do this either as your own company's name or your own organization. And here we're doing this for the college, so we'll put the college's name on it. And then rather than just do it again, I'm just going to go Control C on my keyboard and then Control V for paste. All right, and then I'm just going to eyeball this in. All right, and we're doing this very quickly, but we just want to get the whole understanding of how this works. And this one is going to be abbreviated, drawn by, and then colon, and then I type the colon. And then what I do is I just click out of it, and then I hit escape generally, right? And so I'll just go ahead and copy this, right click and copy. And then I'm going to do these for all the boxes. All right, and then if I don't put it right where I want to, all I have to do is click on it and I can just drag it to where I need it. All right, this one's going to be check by. And I'm double clicking inside of the box and making the abbreviation. And this is a nice feature here because I can change it as I need to. All right, and I'm zooming in and out with my scrolling with my mouse. And this is going to be the approved by, or AP for short. And then I still have to do the sheet scale and the date and then the drawing number. So I'm just going to take this box and snap it in there and then drag it around as I need it. So this one's going to be the scale. So double clicking inside and then just typing it, scale. And then this one's going to be the sheet. So typically you have sheet numbers because you may have one object, but it may require 4 or 5 sheets. So typically you'd say 1 of 3 or just sheet 1, whatever you need to. So there's the sheet, and then this one is going to be for the date, and it hasn't really given us a lot of room here, to be honest with you. So again, you might need to change this for yourself, but this will suffice for this exercise. All right, and then this is going to be the drawing number. And so green, honestly, is not the best color to be using on these. I noticed that they just don't print all that well. It's hard to see it, but and again, because it's in the layers, these are all very easy to change. All right, so inspect the dimensions, make sure you have all the boxes filled, and then what you're going to notice is you can easily copy this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say right click and say copy, and I'm going to create a copy of the layout. I'm also double clicking here, and I've changed what it's called, right? And so they're identical, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete the dimensions because obviously when I'm drawing in there, I want to, I'm going to need to have different dimensions and such. So let's go ahead and make a copy of it and then have one, just the title block that we can use. All right, and then this, every time you work, it'll be consistent throughout. And then I want to save this, of course. Now, the AutoCAD saves it from within itself, but if you need to, go ahead and put it in a different folder for yourself, and I have this in the chapter 7 of this textbook, and I'm saving this as a template file. Very similar format in terms of everything, but you only use this for template purposes. And then you save it, and then you can print this out, and you are done with the exercise.